Okay, so we need to talk about Stefon Diggs and Cardi B because this situation is getting messy, and I mean messy, messy. Like the kind of messy where you're watching it unfold and you're like, girl, this is not going to end well. So if you've been living under a rock, Stefon Diggs, NFL star, wide receiver, the whole athletic package, and Cardi B have a baby together. And at first people were like, okay, cute celebrity couple, whatever. But now things are getting interesting for all the wrong reasons. Because here's the tea. Cardi recently called a 4-year-old girl the B word during an interview. Stefon said he's going to have to check her.
Are you enjoying these post-game videos from Cardi? Her reactions to the Patriots winning, are you enjoying those?
It's cool. I got to holler at her about one recently. But
the NFL fan base is having an absolute meltdown, and people are already predicting this relationship is going to crash and burn. So buckle up, because we're about to break down why this relationship might actually be damaging Stefon Diggs' career, his reputation, and honestly, his entire brand. Now, before we dive in, let me explain why this situation hits different than your typical celebrity relationship drama. The NFL is not Hollywood. Let me repeat that for the people in the back. The NFL is not Hollywood. These are two completely different worlds with completely different expectations, different audiences, and different consequences for messiness. Hollywood? They kind of expect the chaos. Beef, drama, controversies, that's part of the entertainment package. But the NFL, they're corporate, they're conservative, they're about family values, charity work, and keeping your image squeaky clean because you're representing billion-dollar franchises and sponsors who do not play about their reputation. So when an NFL player starts dating someone who's known for being unapologetically controversial, which, look, is part of Cardi's brand and she owns it, the optics get complicated real quick. And here's where it gets even more complicated. Stefon Diggs is already dealing with legal allegations. The last thing he needs right now is additional controversy or reasons for people to question his judgment. But instead, he's out here publicly linked to someone who just called a literal child the B word on camera. The math is not mathing. The strategy is not strategizing. And fans are noticing. All right, so let's talk about what actually happened because this is where everything started going left. Cardi B was doing an interview. The little girl picks who she thinks is going to win the games. And people are saying Cardi B mistakenly thought the little girl said the New England Patriots was going to lose. Hell, even if she did, Cardi B was still out of line, calling that little girl the B word. Cardi, are you okay? She called her the B word, not allegedly, because we all heard it and it wasn't AI. Now, let me be clear. I don't care how heated you are. I don't care what the context was. I don't care if you were joking. You do not call a 4-year-old child that word, period. End of discussion. A 4-year-old, a literal toddler, that's somebody's whole child. And the internet, rightfully so, lost it. She would lose her mind if someone called culture a name. Twitter was on fire. Instagram comments were ruthless. TikTok was making videos about it. Parents were especially heated because, calling children derogatory names tends to upset people. Shocking, I know. But this isn't the first time Cardi B has said horrific things about a child. And in the middle of all this backlash, Stefon Diggs apparently felt the need to address it. And this is where it gets interesting. During his own interview, because apparently everyone's doing interviews, Stefon said something along the lines of, I'm going to have to check her on that. Which, okay, on the surface sounds like he's setting a boundary, right? Sounds like he's saying, hey, that wasn't cool. We need to talk about that. But here's the problem. He said this publicly. He didn't handle it privately like you would in a normal relationship. He made it a public statement, which means one of two things. Either this is damage control for his image or their relationship dynamic is already messy enough that he feels comfortable calling her out in interviews. Neither option is great, by the way, because if it's damage control, that means he's more worried about his reputation than actually addressing the issue privately, which is telling. And if their relationship is already at the point where they're publicly checking each other, girl, that's a red flag the size of Texas. But let's talk about why this specific incident is such a problem for Stefon. Beyond just the obvious, it's wrong to call kids names thing. So here's what a lot of people don't understand about NFL culture. The fan base is extremely different from hip hop or entertainment fan bases. NFL fans are not here for the messiness. They're not here for the drama. They want their players to show up, perform on Sundays, maybe do some charity work, and stay out of trouble. That's it. That's the formula. And the NFL as an organization, they are notoriously conservative about image and reputation. We're talking about a league that fines players for uniform violations, that has strict conduct policies, that drops players the second they become too controversial to be profitable. So when Stefon Diggs, who's already dealing with legal allegations, by the way, we'll get to that, starts publicly dating someone who's calling children obscene names, the NFL fan base is not here for it at all. I've been reading the comments on sports forums, and girl, they are dragging this relationship. People are saying things like, he needs to focus on football. This is going to tank his career. She's a distraction. All of that. And before anyone comes for me saying, oh, they're just being misogynistic or they don't want to see him happy, that's not what this is. Because if Stefon was dating literally anyone else who wasn't actively causing controversy, people would be fine with it. The issue is specifically that Cardi B comes with a certain level of chaos that doesn't mix well with NFL culture. And whether that's fair or not is honestly irrelevant at this point, because perception is reality in the sports world. Teams are watching this. Sponsors are watching this. The league office is watching this. And they're all thinking the same thing. Is this guy becoming more trouble than he's worth? Now, here's the part that makes this even worse. And this is what people aren't talking about enough. Stefon Diggs is currently facing legal allegations. I'm not going to get into the specific details because some of that is still being sorted out legally, but the point is, he is not in a position where he can afford additional controversy or bad press. When you're already dealing with legal issues, the last thing you want is to give people more reasons to question your judgment or character. You want to be laying low, staying out of the headlines, being on your absolute best behavior. Instead, Stefon is out here publicly coupled up with someone who just made international headlines for calling a child a derogatory name. The optics are terrible. And here's what's really coded about this whole situation. There's already a narrative in the NFL about players who lose focus because of their personal lives. Whether it's fair or not, that narrative exists. And right now, Stefon is feeding directly into it. Teams and sponsors are not stupid. They're watching this relationship and they're seeing controversy, public disputes, questionable judgment, distraction from football. And they're adding it to the list of concerns that already includes his legal situation. This is not the image you want when you're trying to secure your next contract or maintain your endorsement deals. This is not the energy you want to be projecting when you're already under scrutiny. And look, I'm not trying to predict the future or manifest negativity, but girl, people are already seeing the cracks in this relationship, and it hasn't even been that long. First of all, the fact that Stefon publicly said he needs to check her, that's already a sign that they're not on the same page about boundaries and behavior. In a healthy relationship, you handle that stuff behind closed doors. You don't air it out in interviews. Second, the way this relationship is being received is creating pressure that most new relationships can't withstand. They've got NFL fans hating on it, parents upset about the child comment, people on social media making predictions about their breakup. That's a lot of external noise to deal with. And third, and this is the most important part, their lifestyles and public personas are fundamentally different. Cardi B built her career on being unfiltered, controversial, and unapologetic. That's her brand, and honestly, it works for her. But Stefon Diggs is an NFL player who needs to maintain a certain image to protect his career and earning potential. Those two things are going to clash. They're already clashing. At some point, he's going to have to choose between defending her when she does something controversial or protecting his own reputation. And if this 4-year-old situation is any indication, he's already choosing his reputation. Which means this relationship has an expiration date, and honestly, it might be sooner than people think. Here's what I really want to know though, and this is the part that's going to make people mad, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Is Stefon Diggs actually serious about this relationship, or is this just celebrity PR that's backfiring? Because let's be real. When two high-profile people get together right when they both need positive press or distraction from their individual issues, it's not exactly crazy to wonder if there's strategy involved. Cardi gets to be linked to an NFL star, which diversifies her brand beyond just rap and reality TV. Stefon gets to be seen with a massively popular celebrity, which could help his mainstream appeal. Well, maybe not, hell. The man has about 4 baby mamas already. I don't see how that could be appealing at all. On paper, it makes sense. But in practice, it's a disaster. Because the NFL world and the entertainment world have completely different standards, and this relationship is proving they don't mix well. So yeah, is this relationship hurting Stefon Diggs? Absolutely. Is it going to get worse before it gets better? Probably. Are we all going to be watching this situation unfold in real time? Obviously. The question isn't if this is going to end messy, it's how messy it's going to get before it ends. What do you think? Is Cardi B bad for Stefon's career, or are people overreacting? And do you think this relationship is even real or just PR? Let me know in the comments, because I know y'all have opinions on this. Make sure you're subscribed, because we're definitely going to have updates on this situation. This drama is far from over. Stay messy, stay informed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.